Good morning, Willowbrook. Today's devotional passage is in Matthew chapter 26, verses 47 through 56. This is the story of the betrayal of Judas and the arrest of Jesus. So let's look at the verses. If we go back to verse 46, we see that Jesus is talking with his disciples after he found them asleep when he had asked them to pray, and tells them that his betrayer is coming. Then Judas shows up with a large crowd armed with swords and clubs sent from the chief priests. Matthew doesn't tell us how many people came, but John's gospel says Judas was leading a detachment of soldiers and others. A Roman detachment is 1/10 of a legion, or 600. Now that's a lot of people. Judas had told them that the one I kiss is the one to arrest, and Judas went straight to Jesus and kissed him. Now Jesus knew what was happening and told Judas, "Friend, do what you came for." Then the men stepped forward and seized Jesus and arrested him. With that, one of Jesus' companions drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Jesus said to him, "Put your sword back in its place, for all who draw the sword will die by the sword." Then Jesus tells them, "Don't you know that I can call on my Father, and he will at once send more than 12 legions of angels? And this has all taken place so that the scriptures can be fulfilled. It must happen this way." Many times I struggle to find what to say when I see the devotional passage, but these verses are full of good stuff. So let's dive a little deeper. Verse 48, betrayed by a kiss. In early Israel, a kiss was a common greeting, a sign of deep respect and honor, a symbol of brotherly love. Judas was using a symbol of love and respect at the same time he was betraying Jesus to be arrested and killed. Many times enemies disguise themselves as friends to conceal their true purpose. In verse 50, "Friend, do what you came for." Jesus knows what's going on. It's all part of the Father's plan. No matter how well planned their attempt to arrest and kill Jesus might have been, the hour of his death would not come 1 second earlier than the plan that had been put in place before the foundation of the world. Verse 52, Jesus says, "Put your sword back in its place." It seems to me that Jesus is saying a sword has a place, but this is not it. You can't fight spiritual warfare with weapons. But if you live violently and treat others badly, you can expect the same in return. Luke's gospel tells us that Jesus touched the man's ear and healed him. Jesus was showing love even to those that came to kill him. Verse 53, "Do you not know that I can call on my Father and he will send 12 legions of angels?" Now Jesus was not defenseless. He showed strength in restraining, not weakness. In the face of danger, he was meek, not weak. He had all the power that he needed. In 2 Kings, one angel killed 185,000 men. 12 legions is 72,000 angels. Now that's power. But Jesus knows his Father's will and shows meekness. There's a lot in these few verses, but the one that really got me thinking is verse 51. One of his companions drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest. Now we know from John's gospel that this guy's Peter. All that's happening is doom and gloom for Peter. He must be shocked and very afraid. I know Peter has been told by Jesus that he will die, but when all this happens, he's shocked and he draws his sword to fight. Peter saw a problem and took action. Jesus saw hope and salvation and was meek. Peter saw a tragedy about to happen. Jesus saw a victory about to happen. We might think of all the people that Peter should have known better. He was standing next to the man that he had seen calm storms, walk on water, heal the sick, and even raise the dead. But at this moment, he's going to take matters into his own hands and fight, when he should have just trusted the Lord. But hey, isn't that the same thing that we do? Something happens in our life and we immediately try to fix it ourselves, just like Peter. God has a plan for all of us. Isaiah says God's ways are higher than our ways. He knows what we need and when we need it. When God works, things are not always what they seem. Peter saw tragedy, but for the Lord, the joy set before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. That's what Jesus saw. Peter should have known. And we should know. You can trust God. He told us that all things work for the good of those who love him and are called. So whatever you're going through, God is always working. Have faith. It will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Have a great day, Willowbrook.